Hey guys, what's up? This is my Tripod Necron from Warhammer 40k. This is the third week of my month-long Warhammer thing, I guess. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll just start off with scaling, just like we have with all the other ones. I guess the only preliminary information is Necrons are weird and they can have a lot of different shapes. And hey, this is one of them. And I was like, this is fascinating. I'm going to build this. So yeah, let's just move on to scaling. We'll start with a Space Marine and then go with some of the other just more regular things. So here's the Space Marine, about equal height actually. We have our completely average Lego minifigure who is less than that by a decent bit. And you can't get more average than this Lego minifigure. So there's that next to that. That's maybe, estimate that about 6 feet. So this is about, 8 to 9, something like that, hopefully. That seems fairly accurate, I think. So yeah, and then I guess if we want to go with just things from past weeks and we size up with the orc, then orc is a little bit shorter because orcs are short because they slouch and it's bad for their backs and they probably have lots of back issues because of that. Anyway, and then we can size it up against a smaller little facet of this video. So this is just another little normal Necron I decided to make, who is a little bit shorter than this. And that's really only the only notable things. Yeah. So moving on to how I built this and the different ways to make it easier that you can also build it. So here it is from the side view. You can already see a lot of the structures that I used to make this up. At its base, I basically, let's take off the arms, but it's basically one of these droid bodies. I used a gray one, but Necrons can kind of range from gray, silver, gold, a lot of those. So a lot of those colors also work. I use this kind of rounded structure to form a rounded back. I really wanted to do a lot of the little spines and things that a lot of Necrons seem to have, but that didn't really work out with just the way that pieces curve and everything. So that wasn't really much of an option. For the arms, I have basically just two types of clips, one clipped onto another one, and then I have another 1x1 horizontal clip piece that forms the giant shoulder pad array. And then the arm is kind of just this standard bulkier droid arm sort of thing with another of those clip claw thingies there. And then I'll get into weapons later. So moving to the head, it's kind of an odd head placement. But I ended up using this is like an Ultron drone sort of headpiece with a green stud under it. I don't completely like how this looks because it doesn't really look a whole lot like a head. And so it also works if you were to just use something like the Skeletron or whatever they're called heads, which is totally just a Terminator, from the Lego movie. So as you saw earlier, that's what I did with the smaller Necron. And then to add just some chest details, I added one of these angled clear pieces. Those come in a lot of different types of, CMFs and stuff, which can be fairly cheap. So yeah, that's where that is, and then I just added a clip onto that. You can probably do more as far as more outlining, but it was kind of hard to make it work with the space on this build in particular. So from there, I have a clip attaching the main body structure to the main leg structure, and from there I have two of these, one stacked on top of the other, so the one in the front is higher than the one in the back. And then I have on the front one this kind of, they have a kind of a draping, or some of the images I was looking at has kind of a draping thing in front of the crotch area. And then I added those same pieces from earlier onto the sides of this to give the front two legs an angle. All the legs are made the same. They're all this type of piece. This is on Outriders and stuff, so pretty easy to get. Each one has 4 plus extra pieces in the set, so they're really easy to find. And then this, which is one of those, you put in a minifigure's hand to make it look like they're shooting energy or flame or whatever it is. And then just another angled piece, a curved slope there to give that the outer armored edge. And that's basically all I have to say for building it. The thing that I would say is going to vary the most if I were to make more of these would probably be the way that the weapons are made. I kind of went through a few different weapon designs. Started off with some that was really just easy and simple to build for a gun sort of thing, like a double-barreled type of gun, or something like this. But in the end, it was kind of hard to make a lot of them work with the scale and everything of it. So in the end, I kind of just ended up using a clip, as you see, and then a gun kind of like that. I use those guns on the Space Marines for both the bolters and plasma guns with different variations and add-ons, because the thing I like most about this gun is that it's so modifiable and malleable that it's just, you can use it for a lot of different types of stuff. And then for the other arm, I kind of had a sword type of appendage. This can be done in so many different ways. I used another one of these types of pieces, they're everywhere in this build, to angle it a bit. But you could also build it in with a clip, so that's kind of like this, or facing the other way. I don't have any of these in a green color. A lot of the Necron blades seem to be in green. So if you have access to a lot of like green bladed pieces, then those can work really well, because a lot of the Tripod Necrons seem to have those, greenish type of blades and things. So that tends to work out a little bit better than some other ways that you can do that. So that's all really I have for the weapons. The only other comment is like, you can definitely just add in like a different type of head, because I don't really like how that head looks a ton. I think it works, but I'll show you the other variation of it. So here's the other variation, but it's, it fits in okay. There's not really any sort of silver or gray skeleton looking head with green eyes. So this is kind of the best that you can do with these reddish eyes and such, but you get what you get. But yeah, and then for the other Necron, it's also fairly basic builds. That one actually I built first, so I'll show you how I built that one now. So this one's also very basic. It's basically just a Skeletron from the what is that, Lego movie? Yeah. That's sad. Okay. I had a basically just back placement piece thing that I put onto the front with some minor detailing on it, and then I put on shoulder pad piece that's in the Lego blacksmith shop, and then added some studs to his feet so he's a little bit taller. And then the gun is built out of this standard gun piece, or not really gun, it's used on a lot of things, including like fireman sets and stuff. And just added that onto donut stud, green, 1x1 round, and then a headlight brick with a ice skates piece there, and another donut stud so that you could attach, firing effects and stuff, which looks nice. So yeah, that's really all there is to that. So wrapping up now. I think one of the things that I like most about this build is that it's very cheap to make. A lot of the parts on it are much smaller parts that you can get in pretty high numbers depending on the stuff. Really everything besides the head. Depending on the background of the types of sets that you've gotten in the past and everything, and the sets that you've broken down, obviously. But if you were to build a ton of these and put them all into one larger MOC, then I feel like this would look pretty good, especially because, the limited but existent leg articulation, moving over different types of three-dimensional surfaces and planes, and the usefulness as far as, the scaling of it all, I think works out pretty well. So, don't really have any other comments on it. Anything is cool when it's being beaten up by a Space Marine, because that's just fun. Um, so yeah, anyway, I hope that this was helpful to anyone. I'm gonna have a much larger build next week to end the Warhammer month, and then if anyone has ideas of what to put for next month's theme, because I'll be doing a theme for each month. So I've been thinking about, maybe StarCraft. I don't want to do too much of the typical dirge of Star Wars and Marvel and stuff because it's kind of easy enough to find that stuff. So I want to try to space out a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe that, or maybe I'll do something like Knights related, because I've been fidgeting with a lot of different like Knight pieces and stuff from older sets, but also with the Blacksmith Shop ones and stuff like that. So anyway, do comment below with any ideas you have. Go ahead, like and subscribe. I'll be putting out videos more often now. I took like a giant break in that because my schedule is so terrible. But yeah, so like and subscribe for future content. Go and watch the other Warhammer videos on my Orc and my Space Marine. And I hope you guys all have a great day.